tuning and start to talk about taking care of calibrating these tables. And what we're doing is not actually doing the tuning, but setting up the tables more specific for the engine that we're working with. So let's first jump in here to our VE table here, the main VE table, and start to configure a few things. So we can see this table here is going into positive manifold pressure. This area right here is something I'm not going to hit with a naturally aspirated engine. So we want to chop off the end of the table here. We also aren't going to rev the engine out anywhere near 9,000. So I could go ahead and probably cut 9, 9,500, and 10,000 in terms of breakpoints. Shrink down the table, make it a little bit more simplistic. So let's go ahead and accomplish that first. So jumping into the table here, let's go into our breakpoint rescaling, and we'll highlight here all the way into positive manifold pressure, and we'll use delete values, simply delete those. So the table's going to top out at 0 psi. If you're forced induction, obviously you want to go rescale this. You have breakpoints accounting for boost pressure. Usually I like to jump between 3 to 4 psi, so going from 0 to 3 or 0 to 4, then to 8, 12, 16, 20, on and on if I'm using 4 psi jumps. You can use the wizard to rescale this table here. Let's go to our enable RPM axes, and let's go chop off 9, 9,500, and 10,000. We're not going to use those. Now the other thing that we're going to keep in mind here that we definitely want to do is go to our enable axes. And in the axes here, we're going to make this table a 4th dimension. So we have engine RPM, we have manifold pressure, and we're going to be basing this now a separate table to switch over to when we're in VTEC. We need to go and base this on cam control switch state. So if we go here to select, it might not be populated because we turn that off. Let's look down here in the list. It does not have that populated. So we actually made those changes and we didn't hit apply. So let's go do that real quick. Let's go delete. Let's go back in here, delete, and click OK. Now we've shrunk the table down. Now in order to make this table a 4th dimension based table, so it's switching, we have a VE table for low cam and a VE table for high cam for VTEC, so non-VTEC, VTEC operation. We have to jump back to main into our list here. Let's go to engine functions. Let's turn on our cam control switch state. And what we'll do here is just set the cam control of the VTEC output to 9,000 RPM, just so it's bypassed. So I wanted to just turn it off to keep it simple, but it looks like it's not going to allow me to do that. So let's go ahead and toggle that off. Let's go ahead and jump back into our field tuning page. Now we'll jump into our table, and now we'll go to our enable axes. And now when we select cam control, we should find cam control. Here we go. Cam control switched output state intake. This is going to be on or off. So if we click OK here and we set this to, let's go to the wizard. Now it's not going to let us populate this. If we type in here a 0 and a 1, let's see what this is going to do. It should set this to on off. Yep, off and on. So off is no VTEC. On is VTEC. Now the table here is going to be identical between low and high cam right now. We're only on low cam because we've set the VTEC to turn on at 9,000, and we're not going to hit that high of an RPM. So we've set the table here, reasonable values. We'll work with the low cam and the calibration tuning first, then we'll copy low cam into high cam and tweak and adjust that when we get to that specific tutorial. But now we've configured the table. Now looking at the values in the table, at idle here, where values are roughly 50% VE, 50 to 60 is typically what we want to find here in the table. When we're at full throttle, here are the last 3 columns getting into high load. Values go from 60 to 90, pretty reasonable as well. That's about what we'd expect. We're going to run with the values in our table here and see what happens. So we're not going to do any further changes in here. Let's go to our fuel corrections. We can see in this case, the air...
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.